Welcome to this explainer. Okay, so picture this. You're a small business owner, you're looking out at a port, and you see one of those absolutely massive, towering cargo ships. And you probably think to yourself, how on earth does a normal business ever afford to use one of the biggest vehicles on the planet? Well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to unlock the secrets of international shipping, and I promise you, we are going to do it without drowning in confusing, centuries-old maritime jargon. We're going to make the high seas highly accessible for your business.
So, let's start by imagining a pretty massive logistical challenge. Let's say your business suddenly secures a huge contract to move 45,000 tons of raw materials across the globe. Maybe it's grain, maybe it's steel. Now, to put that into perspective, 45,000 tons is roughly the equivalent of 1,500 fully loaded semi-trucks. You obviously aren't going to just stroll down to the bank, take out a $100 million loan, and buy a specialized ocean vessel just for this one deal, right? So how does this actually work in the real world? Well, it all comes down to a very practical, beautifully scaled solution that the shipping industry has perfected over literally decades.
And here is our roadmap for today to figure that out. We've got a clear six-step journey here. Renting the seas, types of ship rentals, who pays for what, the art of the deal, real-world charter costs, and finally, some essential rules for chartering. All right, let's dive right in.
Section 1. Renting the seas. You see, the big open secret of the global shipping industry is that it actually relies entirely on a massive, highly efficient rental market.
Now, the industry uses a very fancy word for this, chartering. But honestly, don't let the terminology intimidate you. Chartering is just the commercial act of renting an entire vessel. That's it. If your business has ever outgrown shipping single boxes and you needed to lease a dedicated delivery truck for a day, you already completely understand the core concept here. Chartering is exactly that same principle. It's just scaled up to vehicles that happen to be the size of skyscrapers. Moving right along to Section 2, types of ship rentals. Because just like renting a vehicle on land, you have a few distinct options out there, depending on how much responsibility you actually want to take on. What's really cool is how these complex legal contracts map directly to everyday rentals you already know. Take a look at the bareboat charter on the left, sometimes legally called a demise charter. Think of this exactly like renting a U-Haul. The ship owner literally gives you the bare boat. You, as the charterer, have to hire the master, hire the crew, buy all the fuel, and handle all the maintenance. It is essentially your ship for that period. But on the right, we have time or voyage charters. Now, this is a lot more like hiring a premium delivery service. The ship owner provides a fully crewed running ship, and you simply pay them for the time you use it or for a specific point A to point B voyage. For a small business just dipping its toes into the water, this second option is usually where you're going to be playing.
Which naturally brings us to Section 3, who pays for what? Because let's be real, if you're a business owner, your absolutely number one concern is the bottom line and avoiding hidden costs.
Knowing exactly which side of the ledger your business falls on is absolutely crucial here. So if you're on a standard time charter, the ship owner is covering the really massive capital costs, the insurance for the hull and machinery, the ship's repairs, and the crew's wages. But as the charterer, you take on the operational costs. So you're on the hook for port expenses, canal dues, stevedoring, which, by the way, is just the industry term for loading and unloading your cargo, and crucially, bunkering. Bunkering simply means fuel. And as we're going to see in just a second, fueling a massive cargo ship is no small line item. Knowing this split right up front ensures you don't run into incredibly costly surprises later.
All right, Section 4, the art of the deal. So you know what you want to rent, but how do you actually get the keys? Let's take a look at the fast-paced negotiation process.
This is a rapid-fire negotiation loop, and wildly, it almost always happens globally without a single in-person meeting. It starts with a firm order. That means you have real cargo ready to go. The ship owner's broker then makes a firm offer with their terms. Then you send a counteroffer. In the industry, this is often done using a quick shorthand like accept, which literally means you accept most of their terms, except for a few specific points you want changed. So you bounce these counters back and forth like a ping-pong match until you reach an agreement, pending some final checks that the industry calls subjects.
And when you finally align on all the big stuff, the price, the dates, the specific vessel, you're going to hear a magical industry phrase, fixed sub details. This means the core deal is essentially done. You are fixed. It's just subject to a few final minor details or conditions being checked off. You know, things like your company's board giving the final thumbs up or verifying some bank financing.
Let's make this really concrete. Section 5, Real-world charter costs. Let's ground all this theory into some hard numbers with a real-world case study. $4,800. That is the daily charter hire rate for a typical mid-sized cargo vessel. Now, on the surface, honestly, that sounds surprisingly affordable. You might spend that much on a small local marketing campaign. But remember what we talked about just a minute ago regarding the ledger? That $4,800 only covers the rental of the crewed ship itself. Let's look at the full picture of this specific vessel, the MV Handy. It has a capacity of 45,000 tons, what the industry calls deadweight tonnage, or DWT. It cruises at about 14 knots. But look at that final column right there, fuel consumption. It burns 26 tons of heavy fuel oil every single day. Remember, under a standard time charter, you, the charterer, pay for the bunkers. If marine fuel is running at, say, $500 a ton, that is $13,000 a day just in fuel. That's nearly triple your rental fee. And that right there is exactly why you absolutely must do the complete math before you sign anything. Okay, let's wrap this up with Section 6, Essential Rules for Chartering. Let's distill all of this down into the absolute non-negotiable rules to protect your business.
These right here are your golden rules. Number 1, ensure your business is absolutely firm. That means your letters of credit are open and the cargo is real. Don't go ship hunting on a maybe. Number 2, study the real market rates and cross-check any dockside rumors with actual hard data. Next, keep your options open. Don't just jump at the first ship just because it's convenient. And finally, this is the most critical rule of all. Never, ever lift your subjects in anticipation. If your deal is subject to financing, do not tell the ship owner the subject is lifted until that money is literally sitting in the bank. In merchant shipping, unexpected surprises are incredibly common. And trust me, they are always very, very costly.
And just like that, the high seas don't seem quite so mysterious anymore, do they? You now understand the basic mechanisms to rent the biggest, most powerful vehicles on Earth and exactly how to protect your bottom line while you're doing it. The globe is effectively completely open to your enterprise now. So, what will your business move next? Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and we'll see you next time.